All right. Well, congratulations and thank you so much for being part of the team. I'm going to go ahead and get started with our Jumpstart training. This is how to get a jump on your success. We're going to go ahead and talk about the 7 steps to success. Start with number 1, your why. Number 2, the list. Number 3, the brief invitation. Number 4, the presentation. Number 5, the validation. Number 6, 3-way call. And number 7, helping new consultants. So let's talk about determining your why. At the time of this recording, I have been in this business for almost 10 years now. It's going to be 10 years on January the 9th of 2020. And my name is David Nuñez. I'm an executive consultant in this wonderful business. And just to share with you why I got started in the business, I got started in a time where my mom had just passed away. I had just lost a job and I had just become a dad. So I was in a position where I was really struggling to make ends meet. And then a good friend of mine invited me to take a look at this opportunity. And when I first saw this business, I got really excited because everybody I know uses electricity and also everybody I don't know uses electricity. So I knew that I could find some people that would want to be able to make some money on a very part-time basis. And I was a struggling dad. I had when I lost my mom and lost my job, I had been unemployed for 3 months and I started to fall behind on my bills. So when I finally started working again, I had to start at the very bottom of the ladder. So you know how that's never fun. And when I started working, I was struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, and I just knew that I didn't want to live that way for the rest of my life. So my first initial why was to be able to buy diapers and formula for my son, because I was in a position where, when you're struggling to make it and when you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's very hard for you to be able to buy the simple things in life. And, buying diapers and formula and different things that I needed. Even going out to eat a burger was something that was a struggle for me. And I knew that I didn't want to live like that for the rest of my life. So I started working this business on a very part-time basis, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. And eventually it got to the point where I was able to walk away from my job. So it's already been about almost 5 years since I've had a job. I actually retired from corporate America in March of 2015. And I got married 3 years ago. And my wife and I are both stay-at-home parents now, thanks to this opportunity. My wife walked away from her job a year ago in October of 2018. And, my wife had 2 daughters when I met her. I had 2 sons, so we already had a large family. But a year ago, on November the 8th, 2018, the Lord blessed us with a baby girl of our own. So now we have 5 kids in total. We just bought a brand new house. It's being paid for every single month with our Ambit money, and we get to live life on our terms. We get to enjoy time together. We get to do a lot of activities together and just be able to have that freedom of time and that freedom of finances where we don't have to worry where the money is going to come from to pay our bills. And that's something that might be interesting to you, that you might want to achieve at first. But your why can be anything that inspires you to work your Ambit business every day. For me, having the freedom was not in my vocabulary at the very beginning because I didn't know that was possible. But through meeting other leaders and seeing the successes that they had attained, I started to realize that it was more than possible. It was something that can definitely happen for me and for my family. So it's all about getting to work and following a simple system. So determine your why and what's going to help you stay motivated every single day. So creating your contact list, who goes on your list? Everybody, friends and family, co-workers, professional contacts, business associates, organizations you belong to. Remember, you don't want to prejudge anybody. You don't want to prejudge anybody, and you want to make sure that everybody gets onto your written list. On the invitation, when you're inviting people to take a look at the opportunity, remember, you're just inviting people to take a look at the opportunity. You're not trying to convince anybody into the business. You keep the invitation short and sweet. The less you say, the more you make. Less is more. Don't confuse the invitation with the presentation and keep it brief. The 2 things that I look for when I'm out there prospecting is, number 1, are they open? And number 2, is there a need? The need has to be something like, they might want more time with their family. Maybe they're like me and they were living paycheck to paycheck. They're struggling. Most people, as a matter of fact, studies show that about 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So the majority of people out there are living paycheck to paycheck, and we have a better way to show them a way out. So when you're inviting people to take a look, one thing I like to do is I like to go straight to the point. So when people ask me, so what is it that you do? And I say, well, here's a short story. You know how people pay their electricity bill every single month? And the answer to that is always yes. I say, well, basically all I do is I help people save money on their electricity bill. I help other people make money on a part-time basis. And best of all, I get to do it all off of my cell phone. Would it be okay if I showed you how? You always ask that. Would it be okay if I showed you how? Every single time I word it that way, I've never had anybody say, no, I don't want to know how. Everybody's always saying, yes. What is it that you're doing? I want to know more on how it works. So they already know that it's electricity. They know it's helping people save money. They know it's helping people make money. So now what we're trying to do is have people take a look at a presentation. And how are we going to do the presentation? Well, local meetings, right? If you have a local meeting in your area, make sure you at least attend 1 or 2 meetings a week. If you don't have a local meeting in your area, make sure you be the leader to create one. One-on-one presentations are my favorite, where I meet with people for coffee and I just show them the short 7-minute video presentations in your home. Open up your home and invite some friends to come over and take a look at the business. And of course, your website, the alias, which could be, in my case, thepowercouple.energy526, and show them that video presentation so they can get all their information on there. So now you just showed them the business presentation. You know, you have to make sure that when you're presenting the opportunity, your excitement, enthusiasm, and commitment is going to make all the difference, because sometimes people are not going to join you right away because they want to see how committed you are. And sometimes people just, will join just because they see you're excited. They see your enthusiasm behind the business and they want to get started because they want to be part of something great. So you want to make sure that you're always excited, enthusiastic about the business, and make sure you commit to being successful in this business. Commit to the business, because all of that is going to make the difference. The validation, once you've invited someone off your list to take a look at a presentation, you have to follow up with your prospect. Ask the following questions to encourage a decision. Did that make sense to you? Or do you have any questions? And if they say no, ask them, does that mean you're ready to get started? Because sometimes people just want to be led and they want to know what's the next step. Another thing that I like to say is, once the video's over, say, well, now that you've seen the way this business works, would you like to know the next step? Would you like to know the next step? And people say yes, they would like to know the next step. They're interested in getting started. Okay? So you want to make sure that you're guiding your prospect through this presentation and making it simple for them. So you can always say, let's just say you're talking to a lady that never gets to see her kids and is always struggling paycheck to paycheck. So once the presentation's over, you can say, so Mary, what's going to be easier for you? To continue living paycheck to paycheck and not have the time to be and spend with your kids, or start a part-time business where I can help you, and eventually we can be able to buy back your time and you could be able to spend the rest of your life with your kids the way you want to and not the way you have to. You can always give them 2 choices, or say, you know what, now that you see how this works, would you like to know the next step? And that's a very, very powerful question, because you're leading them to the close. You're leading them to make a decision, because at the very end, that's what we want. We want our prospects to make a decision. If they say yes, sign them up. Don't say any more. Sign them up. If they say no, do a 3-way call or ask them to be your customer. But most of the time, it's going to be a maybe. And maybes are going to be disguised as, well, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I need to speak to my spouse. One way that I like to overcome that is, whenever I have someone that says, well, I don't have the money, I like to say, I know you don't have the money. That's exactly why I invited you to take a look at this business. Wouldn't you want to start a part-time business that can allow you to have more money in the future? Asking the right questions. I don't have the time. I know you don't have the time. That's exactly why I invited you to take a look at this opportunity. Wouldn't you want to start a part-time business that can allow you to have more time freedom to be able to enjoy with your family? I need to speak to my spouse. I totally understand you need to speak to your spouse. But why don't we do this? Why don't we set up an appointment for us to meet with your husband or wife, whoever the other spouse is, your husband or wife, so that way we can get together with them, show them the opportunity so that they can have the best chance of making an educated decision and see the information in a professional manner, just like you did. Does that sound fair? And you always want to make that that appointment, because if the husband goes and tells the wife, or the wife goes and tells the husband the information, they're just gonna vomit all over them, and they're not gonna be able to give them the information correctly, and it's usually not gonna end up good, and they're probably not gonna end up signing up. So you always want to reset another appointment, book a meeting from a meeting, to set another appointment to meet with the other spouse, to be able to show the business to them in the same way that they get to see the presentation. So always do the three-way call. Make sure you're not building this business by yourself. So closing call, three-way call, make sure you set it up in advance with your leader. Speak highly of the leader to your potential consultant and call them your business partner, not your upline. So let's just say you have plans to meet with Mary on Saturday at 3 p.m. Make sure you text your leader or call your leader and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and meet with a friend of mine, Mary, at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Do you think you'd be able to be available for a three-way call at around 3:15, 3:20, right? Always let them know what time you're going to need them on the phone, so that way they can be expecting your call. You always want to speak highly of the leader to your potential consultant. So whenever you're talking to your potential consultant, say, hey, listen, I'm working with this friend of mine. His name is David Nuñez. He's an executive consultant in this business. And this man has an amazing story. He started off as a single dad, broke, struggling to make ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck. And now, thanks to this business, he was able to buy back his time. And not only is he retired, but his wife is retired too. And together they have 5 kids. They just bought a house and are enjoying the time freedom and financial freedom that this business has to bring. And I would really love for you to hear his story. And that way he could be able to answer any questions that maybe the video presentation left unanswered. So give me 1 second. When you introduce, that's what you're going to say when you introduce me to somebody else. If you're going to be introducing another leader, another Ambit leader, make sure that you know their story and be able to give a proper introduction, because you don't want to make it seem like, oh, I'm just introducing you to just another person. You want your prospect to know that you're introducing them to a leader, someone who's been successful and is experiencing success, so that way they can feel more comfortable saying yes to this opportunity and get started, and know that they're getting their questions answered properly and getting their questions answered by someone who's had success, and they can feel more comfortable getting started in the business. And remember, you always call them your business partner, not your upline. So do's and don'ts during the three-way call: you never want to interrupt the leader. Once you make the introduction, you put your phone on mute and don't interrupt the leader. Don't interrupt the conversation. Let the leader talk. And only do the three-way call if the potential has seen the opportunity. Always make sure, what did you like best about the video, when you follow up with them, because you want to make sure that they did see the presentation before you put them on a three-way call. And let the leader know if you don't need the call. You know, let's just say the appointment with Mary at 3 o'clock had to be rescheduled. Immediately text your leader and say, thank you so much for being available, but we're going to have to reschedule this three-way call for a later time. I will let you know. And that way we know not to be waiting around for the call. So it's very important, just some business etiquette. You know, inspiring your new consultant, it's very important that you inspire your people in this business. Show them ways to gather customers and you know, their customer points, asking family and friends to join Ambit, and offer Ambit's amazing benefits to others that you know and trust, because, you know, we do have a better way. We do have a wonderful business, and it's very important that we teach our new consultants how to get paid. Your very first 2 customers is what's going to help them get paid, and we want to make sure that they take care of that immediately within their first 24 to 48 hours, gathering their first 2 customers, so they can see their first $100 in their back office, and they can get excited knowing that they've already recouped their investment. And then from that point on, it's just going to be pure profit. And we're going to teach them how to continue duplicating that. Because once you learn how to make your first $100 by gathering 2 customers, and you learn how to invite other people to do the same thing and teach them, you're going to have a lot of success in this business. So you got to inspire your new consultants. You got to plug them into local business presentations, trainings, conference calls. We have our Team 526 conference calls Monday through Saturday at 10 a.m., Sundays at 7 p.m. Central Time, and the phone number for that is 712-775-7031, and the PIN code is 968-941-063#. And those calls are hosted by me. I set up the leaders to speak on that call every single day. So make sure you plug into those calls. They're free training. Power Zone, go into Ambit U and watch videos, because you always want to make sure you're growing and learning as much as possible. ambitsuccess.com. Events, the next event right now is Simulcast. Simulcast is at the beginning of the year in January, and Ambition is every single Labor Day weekend. You want to make sure that you're always registered for the next big event, because this is an events-driven business, and the people that make the most money go to these big events. And most people get registered because they want to make more money. And of course, you want to stay in contact with your prospects, because you never want to just enroll someone and forget about them. You want to make sure that once they get started in this business, we show them how to be successful, we grow this business, and we teach them how to duplicate. So hopefully this training was of value to you, and I wish you nothing but the best in your business. So God bless each and every one of you, and good luck in your business.